What an explosive way to end a chapter and a volume, boy. I tell you, like a big budget action movie, but obviously in manga form. One Piece, chapter 399. Jump toward the waterfall. 'Cause I'm on the hype train. Whoo, boy. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and just tantalizing and adventure and action-packed and sea-train-filled tale of One Piece. Our last chapter, of course, saw us really coming out of Robin's flashback, and although it was very saddening to see, obviously, what her past was and what she's gone through, especially ever since she was abandoned once again by her mother and narrowly escaped, obviously the destruction of Ohara, and luckily she was not a part of that, but the life that she's lived since then has been very much a desperate, negatively impacted life. However, the end of the chapter was great because as she came out of the flashback, it was just so great to see Luffy and company still standing strong, still standing proud and saying, "We don't give a fuck. We'll take on the world government. We want you on the crew that much. We're that cool. We love you that much," you know? And then just so powerful at the end when Luffy's just like, "Say it! Say you want to live!" And she was just like, "I want to live!" And I mean, she's crying, and I mean, I'm crying, and oh my god. Oh, it was just beautiful. Anyway, so that's where the chapter left off, and that's where the chapter picks up. This is actually the last chapter here in Volume 41, and then we'll be diving into Volume 42. And the chapter actually starts out in kind of, I thought, a nice way, as we go and we see that everybody is just excited. We've got this great double-page spread here that I wanted to show that, of course, has all of the Straw Hats on the top and all the CP9 members on the bottom. And again, it's just kind of reiterating what happened last chapter of them basically being like, "Hey, it's no problem, we're gonna come save you," you know, and then the CP9 like, "No, you're gonna have to get through us first," right? So anyways, very cool, very epic chapters I'm sure to come, but this chapter itself had a lot of great things and a lot of great action in it as well. We wind up getting a brief check-in from the left and right towers from Kiwi and Mozu, and obviously they were able to get to and lower the drawbridge, and the drawbridge is about halfway down, you know. And anyway, that winds up getting stopped for some reason or slowed down. And then we go back into the courthouse and we see Chief Justice Baskerville, right? And he's like, "Get the mortar, fire the mortar, even if you have to destroy the drawbridge, you know, don't let anybody across," right? And anyway, like one of the Franky family guys, as well as Paulie, they're like, "We're not having none of that." So they go and simultaneously from two different sides do this attack on this Baskerville and wind up going, and you think it's going to slice the guy in half, this three-headed guy. Turns out the dude's actually three dudes, right, that are just all cozied up into one little robe or whatever. And listen, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to judge here, but that's just kind of odd to me. And it's funny because the left one's like, "I'm Bask," and the other one's like, "I'm Ervil," and then the middle one's like, "Call me Princess," and I'm like, what the hell? Is that supposed to be like sort of like an inside like gay joke or whatever? Because he's like the sandwich in the middle of two guys or something. And he's like a girl. He's like a princess. I don't know, man. I just thought it was kind of funny and worth noting. But anyway, you know, as we wind up seeing all that transpire and take place, it goes back up, of course, onto the roof, and Luffy and company, you know, are now looking for a way to get across, want to get the drawbridge moving again. And then as we go back over on the other side, Spandam's like, "All right, we're going to take Nico Robin, we got to run, we got to get to the gates of justice, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Grab Cuddy Flam," which of course is Franky, and Franky goes and he's like, "Wait, hold on a second," and just like out of his body, he goes and pulls out, and he's got like this old tattered looking little book, you know, that he's got in his hand that says Pluton, and it's the blueprints for Pluton, right? And he goes and he's like, "In my hand, I hold this," and blah, blah. And he goes through this whole explanation about how, you know, the whole reason with this was, and then, of course, there's Nico Robin, is that there'd always be something to counteract. If the weapon fell into the wrong hands, there'd always be that if the blueprints fell into the wrong hands, for instance, if somebody could find Nico Robin, then obviously she could be the counterbalance to that, or vice versa, you know. So he's trying to explain that basically there's two options, you know, as far as getting to this ultimate weapon or activating it or using it, right? So after a little bit of talking and this and that, you know, and you got all the CP9 members all wide-eyed because this is the shit they've been looking for 5 years, right? And you got Spandam over there, you know, and he's just, you know, getting all excited and "Give me those," right? And Franky goes and he's just like, fucking blows fire, right? Flamethrower from the mouth, dude. Gotta love this guy. Burns that shit up and says, and this is what I love, what he said. He goes, "Listen," he goes, "now here's the deal. Now the only way to activate the ancient weapon is Nico Robin, right? Now if you wind up winning and you capture her, then all is lost. If the Straw Hats wind up winning, you're fucked, right? I'm gonna bet on the Straw Hats. So I like my boy Franky. My boy Franky's ready to roll the dice, man. He's ready to bet it all on black, you know, or whatever. I just thought it was really cool. So anyway, as that all transpires and goes down, and I'm just thinking, oh, this is great. And you even see some of the CP9 members, they're just like 5 years, you know, because they're thinking these 5 years of their life undercover was just wasted, right? Because the plans they were looking for, they didn't get. They didn't recover the whole time. Franky had him inside of his half mechanical, half human body, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, it was very, very cool. And then we go and wind up seeing, as we get, and it's so cool too, because you wind up getting, there's this little exchange between Luffy and Franky's basically just like, I really like you guys, because he sees some of his guys, and they're like, hey bro, we made it, and blah, blah, and he starts crying and everything else, you know, he's, oh, you don't have to come rescue me. But the funny part is Luffy's like, hey, shut up, I'm still mad at you for going and chasing Usopp away, or forgetting, you know, all that stuff happening with Usopp and him being chased away. And Franky goes and he's like, what? He's like, he's standing right next to you, you know, and I love it how, like, Luffy and Chopper are the only two that don't realize that it's actually Usopp. But anyway, whatever, story for another time. So the chapter as it progresses on, it's just great to go and see, because then you go and you see everybody working together, and all of a sudden they wind up getting through the snail transponder. I think Nami's the one that's holding it, but whatever. You know, the Straw Hats are all together pretty much at this point, and it's Kokoro, and Kokoro's like, yeah, I heard the drawbridge is only half lowered. I'll be there in 4 seconds. Jump towards the waterfall. I'm like, what the fuck? Jump towards the waterfall? You'd be here in 4 seconds, right? Bitch is on the sea train, right? Kokoro is on the sea train, got that thing fired up, and she's riding right through the middle of Enies Lobby. They come crashing through. She's barreling over people, buildings, the fucking courthouse, everywhere, right? So she can come out the ass end of the drawbridge. Now you got a picture, the drawbridge, like here, you know, half cocked, basically. And there's this tower here and this tower here, and they're up here. Jump towards it, and I'll just catch you in midair, right? And that's what she's saying, ultimately. So that's what winds up happening. She comes flying over. The Straw Hats all wind up jumping, and as we get this awesome, just wonderful panel here at the end of the page, or at the end of the chapter and volume, just a great depiction here visually. I mean, awesome. You just feel like I said, just like a big action movie, you know? They're flying through the air. Everybody magically is landing onto the damn thing, grabbing on, holding on, whatever. And I just love this. It's flying, and then it's coming this way. And look at the look on Spandam's face. Seriously. Does that not look like somebody who just got an umbrella shoved up his ass and opened? I mean, that's what it looks like to me anyway. Umbrella in the ass and then open. He's just like, I just love it, man. He's losing his shit. Anyway, an excellent chapter for many, many reasons, but certainly a great way to end off the volume over here. So, my chapter question for you, brothers and sisters, is ultimately, what were your thoughts, obviously on the Robin flashback as we came out of that? I'd like to know what your thoughts are on that. But really, your thoughts on Kokoro coming in last minute with the sea train and just saying, fuck it, we don't have to worry about getting the drawbridge down. Let's just go action movie style straight across, you know? Let me know what your answer to that question is in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, which is chapter 400, by the way. Nation.
Please subscribe to my other channels and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter too.